Welcome to Matters of the Heart podcast with Rashonda, Thursday's Tip Edition. Do you need some advice? Need some ideas to improve a specific situation, whether in the world around you or just an individual fix? Well, that's what Thursday's Tip is all about. I don't just tell you how to do it, but I'll always offer a couple of tips on things you can do to succeed in the process. Thursday's tips are geared towards making us feel empowered, starting from the inside out. So, what are you waiting for? Come on in and let me share a couple of tips with you. Hello everyone, welcome to another Thursday's Tip episode. This is the Matters of the Heart podcast. I talk about inspiration, motivation, wellness, and mind peacefulness here. I share experiences, advice, and knowledge to help you and myself improve our life and learn more. The content is always 100% positive, and your cheerful host on this journey is me, Rashonda. Welcome again. If this is your first, second, or 16th time listening to the podcast, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here and took the time to stop by and sit with me. I truly appreciate your time. So, June is here. And as fast as I'm saying that, it's going to be out of here in like 2 weeks, okay? The time is not playing. And guess what? Our health isn't either. While we have another couple of days until summer is officially here, I've heard people discuss their health and exercise more. A friend of mine told me just the other day that it seems like every gym, yoga, or bar workout is holding free sessions. And while I plan to attend with her and get on this summer train of eating healthy and raw, in the meantime, since we are speaking of health, the summer is almost like a reset. Next month is July, meaning it's the start of the last 6 months of the year. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Maybe you're preparing for your physical checkup or have already had it. Now, we women will be open, okay? We will be open about our health and we will be on top of it. I mean, there was a time I wasn't so good about those checkups, but a couple of scares got me on track. Now, women will do what we must and be on point, like I said, with the checkups and all that other type of stuff. However, our men are another story, which brings me to my topic today. What the prostate? A message for our men. It's time to have a little talk with the special guys in our life, okay? This episode isn't about bashing them, but talking to them about their health and one of the primary diseases that may affect them. So let's talk about the prostate, what it is, and how our men can potentially avoid getting it. And women, don't let go of this episode, okay? Because just because this is about men, okay, maybe we don't have husbands or boyfriends in our life, but you do have brothers, okay? You do have dads, you have uncles, you have cousins. So this message is for everyone, okay? So I'll be right back. Stay tuned. So you might be wondering, where in the heck is this coming from? Well, I'm the type of writer that when things interest me, move me, or make me think, I have to either write about it or talk about it. I mean, it's just how I'm wired up, I guess. But this topic came about when I went to my sister's house about 2 years ago one weekend. And while she was out, my brother-in-law and I, we chatted it up, we talked it up. And in doing so, he mentioned that he had got a prostate screening. And it took me by surprise when he said that, because in my mind I was like, isn't that for 50-year-olds? And my brother-in-law literally had just turned 40 that year. So I wondered what made him get such a test and why now. I was really confused. But his friend got tested and was just passing along the information to all the men he knew to get tested. So seemingly they were having a free prostate exam screening. And my brother-in-law was hesitant, but it was free, so he thought he'd go. Of course, My brother-in-law was a little nervous and scared as he didn't know what to expect, and I'm sure at that point he had no clue what he gotten himself into. Once the wait was over and he got into the doctor's office, he was asked a few more questions, followed up by the doctor, then asking him to take off his pants from the waist down. Turn around on the bed, standing up straight, he was asked to lean over on the bed with his elbows lifted. The doctor proceeded to give him some tissue, which at the time my brother-in-law thought the doctor was being considerate to the sniffling he was doing before the exam. Oh, that was nice. My brother-in-law couldn't finish his sentence because before he knew it, he was being probed with a finger up his butt, or gluteus maximus for my fancy folks. My brother-in-law did not fathom what had just happened. He said it felt weird and icky and he wanted to run to the nearest shower he possibly could. And no, the tissue wasn't for the sniffles, but so he could clean up afterward. In less than 5 minutes, though, all of this was over. Now, I know that whole story was uncomfortable for most to hear. If you only knew what us ladies had to go through with our PAP exams, okay? If we can brave it, so can you men. However, my brother-in-law's experience sparked me to write and speak on this matter. And it's not to embarrass my brother-in-law, who also gave me permission then as well as now to speak on his experience, but so I can inform our men, brothers, nephews, cousins, fathers, and husbands of the awkward yet informal things we should all know about. They say men must be at least 50 years old before a prostate exam, just like they say women must be 40 years old to get a mammogram. But those statistics are a little off, as our diets, family heredity, environmental hazards, and etc. have put men and women at risk for such diseases at increasingly younger ages than expected. In general are the hardest people on earth to drag to the doctor. I don't know what it is, but they just won't go. I think it's the perception of if I don't go, then I don't know. And that's great with them. I also think they believe the doc may find something they don't want to face if they go, hence the statement. I truly understand that. Believe me, I think that's an underlying fear for anyone, whether you go faithfully once a year or never. However, stage 4 of something can often be incurable instead of early detection at stage 1, which can increase the odds of living and beating a disease. So, what is the prostate? The prostate is a walnut-sized gland located between the bladder and the penis. The prostate is just in front of the rectum. The urethra runs through the center of the prostate from the bladder to the penis, letting urine flow out of the body. The prostate can get prominent with age, primarily in men over 50. The effects of the prostate is responsible for producing prostatic fluid, which is full of enzymes, proteins, and minerals that are vital for the proper functioning of sperm. Why do men need to get checked for this important screening? Well, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in regards to men. Men have to get tested to decrease their chances of getting prostate cancer. The good news is that if detected early, prostate cancer grows increasingly slower as long as it's attached to the prostate gland. While most prostate cancers grow slowly, however, some are very aggressive and can spread like wildfire if untreated. And how will you know this? Early detection, of course. According to the Mayo Clinic, some prostate cancers may cause no signs or symptoms in its early stages. However, more advanced prostate cancers may cause signs and symptoms such as trouble urinating, decreased force in the stream of urine, blood in the urine, blood in the semen, bone pain, losing weight without trying, and erectile dysfunction. This is why early detection is the best. Most of these things can be prevented if you plan or have regular doctor's visits. Things to do and eat to keep that prostate healthy. Exercise, of course, we hear this all the time. Physical activity is always best in any case. However, if cycling is your exercise of sport, then WebMD suggests a prostate-friendly saddle, which is designed with a gap to remove pressure on the perineum, the space between the opening of the rectum and the scrotum, to keep your most important part out of harm's way. Kegel exercises, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Kegel exercises. Now, you might think Kegels are just for women, but these exercises, which strengthen the muscles in our pelvic region, can help control incontinence in men who have the condition from surgery to treat prostate cancer or an enlarged prostate. To do a Kegel exercise, clench your bladder like you're trying to stop the urine flow and hold for 5 seconds. Work up to 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 20 Kegels daily. So, what should your diet consist of? Well, I'm glad you asked, because Health Central suggests a couple of do's and don'ts. So some do foods include tomatoes, broccoli, sesame seeds, bell peppers, green leafy vegetables like spinach or kale, legumes, beans, lentils, avocados, garlic, fish, which is a healthy fat and has loads of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, which is protective against prostate cancer. Mediterranean diet, anyone? Have you heard of that? So Mediterranean diets are rich in fruits, veggies, healthy fats, and whole grains. Mediterranean diets are said to slow the cancer progression. So men who followed this diet were less likely to have their prostate cancer advanced, per a 2021 cancer study. Some don't eat foods to limit or stay away from are, do you like cooking meat on the grill? And I know we're in the summertime, so a lot of grilling is going to be going on. And while, it may be tasty, but don't let that meat blacken too much on the grill. So charred meat contains a carcinogen that can increase prostatic inflammation, which may increase cancer risk. In fact, eating a lot of well-done, fried, or barbecued meats has been linked to an increased risk of prostate cancer and pancreatic and colorectal cancer. Avoid letting meat directly touch an open flame or hot metal surface when cooking. Turn the meat over frequently using high heat sources to help reduce the formation of carcinogens. Cut back on the saturated fats. Now, this is my problem. Butter, fatty meats, dairy products, cheeses, sweets such as cakes and cookies. It's good to eat those things, but of course, everything in moderation. Red meat, not so much. Listen, eating a diet low in red meat, think less beef, lamb, and pork, is wise if you want to reduce your risk of prostate cancer. And this is by a doctor. His name is Dr. Ross. So one study in the International Journal of Cancer found that people who ate a large amount of red and processed meat had a higher risk of developing advanced prostate cancer. And it's not just prostate cancer. According to the National Institute of Health, red meat is associated with an increased risk of cancer, period, possibly due to the fat and iron it contains. Many risk factors factors such as genetics and family history play a role in all of our health makeups. Of course, a healthy diet is key to any health risk decrease. However, if you add more of the items that I was talking about, if you add those to your everyday meals, you'll be on your way to having a healthy prostate and overall health, period. And this is for everyone. So we'll be surprised at how small changes to our diets can make the most significant impact on our health. So become knowledgeable about specific risk and take advantage of your healthcare benefits at work by visiting a doctor once a year for a complete physical. After all, that's what you're paying for, right? Did you also know that specific insurances give you up to $100 a year for every well checkup you do? So if that's not an incentive to get you to the doctor, then I don't know what is. Check with your insurance and see what they offer you by being prompt with your visits, because what's not that important to you now could be detrimental to us all later. Listen, I will say this again, early detection is the best detection, and your future body will thank you later. Oh, and P.S., my brother-in-law's test came back negative, and I believe he's been getting those tests every year. So, to God be the glory for that. Listen, check with your local hospital or doctor's office to find out if they know of free screenings in your area, or if you have a regular doctor, let them know your questions and or concerns about your prostate health. Men, listen, us women love you. We want you to be your best selves, okay? And in order for us to be our best selves, we have to take care of ourselves by going to the doctor and visiting the doctor, going for those checkups. Hey, if it's something wrong, don't just sweep it under the rug like, oh, it's just a cough, or oh, my side is hurting. It's nothing. It could be something. And I'm not saying, it could just be that you laid wrong in the bed. I mean, it could be that. But I'm just saying, take advantage of going to the doctor. And yeah, so we love you. We love you, men. I love you. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Remember, there's a new podcast episode every first Sunday, which is #Sunday Thoughts or Sunday Word, whichever floats your boat. There's also a Thursday's Tip podcast episode every second Thursday of the month. So if you like episodes such as this one, make sure you listen and subscribe. It's totally free. And whatever platform you're listening on will let you know when there's a new episode. Available. So listen, have a wonderful day. Talk to your men about going to the doctor, all right? And I'll talk to you again soon. That was it for today's episode. I hope you were inspired and feel positive vibes whenever you spend some time with me, Rashonda, and the Matters of the Heart podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to join me next time as we dive deeper into our spiritual, mental, and physical journey. You can follow Matters of the Heart podcast on Facebook to stay tuned for what's coming next. Feel free to share the episodes while you're here. Also, stay with me by subscribing wherever your favorite music and podcast stations reside. And as always, watch your heart, because its actions will follow. Thank you for listening.